Batman Begins was released on June 15th, 2005. I remember it was right around the same time as Revenge of the Sith. Mm-hmm. Got to see those basically kind of 1 month apart there. So the budget was $150 million. Box office, a little over $370 million worldwide for Batman Begins. If you're liking this content, make sure that you're clicking that like button down below. I've got 7 statements here. Lan and Frank are going to have to guess whether or not those statements are fact or if they are fiction. Also, quick side note, I do have a Patreon open now. And we're going to do some fun things with Patreon. I told Frank to remind me in the last video to tell people what we're going to do. And of course, he didn't. So I'm going to try to remember. Because look, if you want to skip past that crap at the end, I'm perfectly fine with that. Like when we wrap up talking about Batman Begins, you're like, I don't give a crap about your Patreon. That's fine. Just close the video. But we do have some fun things in line. And I'll explain that here at the end of the Batman Begins video. But here we go. Number 1, ladies and gentlemen. See, these grainy photos are killing me, man. Killing me. But here we go. Fact or fiction? Robert Downey Jr. was almost cast as the Scarecrow in Batman Begins. Frank.
I can see that. I'll say fact.
Lan.
I can't see that. That's fiction.
That's a fact. It is a fact. So before Cillian Murphy landed the role, Robert Downey Jr. met with Christopher Nolan to discuss playing Dr. Jonathan Crane. Though it didn't move forward, it marked a turning point in RDJ's comeback era. This was just a few years before he would become Iron Man.
Irony Man.
Iron Man. Fact or fiction? Cillian Murphy originally auditioned for Batman, not Scarecrow, in Batman Begins. Lan.
Fact.
Frank.
Yeah, that sounds fun. How about a fact on that?
That's a fact. Yeah.
It's a fact.
That's a fact. Can you tell that I'm doing the voice on that? Murphy was seriously considered for Bruce Wayne and even did a full screen test in the Batsuit. Nolan loved his intensity and felt he just wasn't quite right for the lead, so he wrote Scarecrow with Murphy in mind. Obviously, that was sort of after they had already moved on from Robert Downey Jr. Fact or fiction? The original script for Batman Begins ends with Batman dying. Frank.
It's got to be fiction. No way that can be true.
Lan.
Sure, fact.
That is fiction.
Frank gets the point. Yeah, it's fiction. While Nolan took a darker approach, Batman was never written to die in Batman Begins. In fact, the writers designed the film from the start, knowing it was going to be the first chapter of the trilogy, even if Warner Brothers hadn't yet committed to the sequels. Lan?
What?
I don't even remember. Lan and I were just randomly playing a game. I don't even remember what video game we were playing. And out of nowhere, like we were looking for something, and Lan just dropped into the Christian Bale Batman. He goes, "Where is he?" So I was hoping that he would do that for this video. But yeah, so obviously we're talking specifically about Christian Bale here. Let me see here. Fact or fiction, Christian Bale's famous growling Batman voice was a last-minute change. Lan.
Fiction.
Frank.
A fact.
That is fiction.
Lan gets the point. It is fiction. Bale used the gruff voice from the start of the auditions. Nolan and the producers liked the idea of Bruce adopting a vocal disguise to protect his identity. Love it or hate it, that voice was locked in early on. Now, this brings us to like the Batfleck and how he essentially had sort of the voice changer when he was Batman. And I remember Kevin Smith even coming out and saying, he's like, why haven't they done that? Mm-hmm. He's like, that's what Batman would have. He wouldn't talk like this.
I gotta take a pull.
Do you guys know who the first actor was to differentiate voices between Bruce Wayne and Batman?
Michael Keaton, right?
Michael Keaton.
No.
Val Kilmer?
No.
Adam West.
Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy.
He was the first one really to differentiate between the two. All right, next up. Here we go. Fact or fiction, the title Batman Begins was never meant to be the final name. Frank.
I could see that. Fact.
Lan.
Yeah, fact.
That's a fact. Yeah, you both get the point. See, look, those sounds are still new. So we're going to chuckle. I guarantee by the next video, we're already fucking tired of those things. But anyway, Warner Brothers pushed for titles like The Batman or Batman Year One to connect with fans of the comics. Nolan fought for Batman Begins, wanting to signal a clean break from the Burton Schumacher films, which makes sense. Is that your Katie Holmes impression there, Frank? Is that what that was? All right. Fact or fiction, Katie Holmes was cast before Christian Bale in Batman Begins. Lan.
Fact, sure, why not?
Frank.
I'll go fiction.
That's a fact.
It's a fact.
Lan. Lan got it. Holmes was one of the first major casting decisions brought in before the final Batman was even chosen. While her role as Rachel Dawes was new to the Batman mythos, she was a central piece in grounding Bruce Wayne emotionally. Now, quick question. Katie Holmes or was it Maggie Gyllenhaal?
Katie Holmes.
I wasn't a big fan of either.
But if you had to pick
I guess
one.
if I had to choose one, I thought Maggie Gyllenhaal was a better actress.
Did you ever see that Gyllenhaal?
Sorry, hold on. No, it's fair. Dude, Lan, you're wrong. Maggie Gyllenhaal was terrible in that role. Like, she legitimately, in the second movie, takes me almost out of the movie because she's such a bitch. Anyway, what were you saying, Frank? You got another Popeye story for
Did you ever
us?
see that? No. Did you ever see that movie she did with James Spader? It might change your attitude on.
On who? Katie Holmes?
Spader's. No, with
Secretary?
Gyllenhaal. Yeah, where she's like and Spade is like this dominatrix. Like it was like Grey's. What?
50 Shades of
50.
Grey.
You're going to say
Shades of
Grey's
Grey
Anatomy,
before
weren't
that.
you?
I was about to. Yeah, I was about to throw down Shades.
No, I'm not saying that
Shades
Maggie
of Anatomy.
Gyllenhaal is a bad actress overall.
No,
I'm
I'm
saying
just
that
saying.
specifically in the Dark Knight, the Dark Knight. Oh, like or maybe she's supposed to be hated in that movie. Maybe that was what they were going for, and they were like, you know what? Let's have Batman fall in love with a cunt.
I mean, they didn't bring her back for the third one, so.
No. Where is she? All right, final one. Fact or fiction, Christopher Nolan made the cast of Batman Begins take a Batman history quiz before filming. Frank.
Gotta be fiction, right?
Lan.
Fact.
That is fiction.
Yeah, it's fiction. While Nolan deeply respected the comics, he didn't require the cast to pass any tests. In fact, he actually encouraged the actors to approve the story or approach the story from a real-world perspective, less cape and cowl, more psychology and fear.
Right there, Katie Holmes sees Tom Cruise off camera somewhere, and she's freaked out.
So if he did make them take a quiz and they failed, would he fire them?
I don't know. I would assume that he would, because I've heard of directors doing that, where like you kind of have to. I'm blanking on what. Let me know in the comments down below. But there have been some times where actors or directors do that with the cast so that they can fully understand what it is that they're doing. But really quick, before we wrap up this video, Frank didn't remind me, so I had to remind myself. Patreon. There we go. Look. That's a fact. So the way the Patreon is going to work is there's going to be lots of different things going on. I've wanted to do a movie club for the longest damn time. And if you've followed my live streams on YouTube, you know that the way I want the movie club to work is I'll recommend a movie every month. And then during that month, I'm going to do a giveaway for a particular item that's related to that movie. The first one that I want to do is going to be Tombstone. I found these rad, like, whiskey glasses that have quotes from Doc Holliday and stuff on them. So I wanted to do that, but I couldn't do that with my YouTube membership. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that kind of stuff with Patreon. Right now, you can join for free. All the stuff over there is going to be free. So there's going to be the movie club. And then on top of that, I'm going to start doing my own sort of content creation course as well. If you've watched a lot of my stuff, you know Brandon Sivrett. He's been on the live streams before and he's done these videos with us before. And he's starting his own stuff. And so I'm going to show him kind of my method of how I do things, and I do them quickly. And I'm going to be putting all that stuff up on my Patreon. So if you've ever wanted to get into content creation, or you want some kind of behind the scenes stuff, that stuff is going to be available for you over on Patreon. Again, it's also just at The Real Brandalorian over there.